Has anybody ever said something to you that you just thought was so wrong? You thought they had to be joking or something? I used to play a fair amount of tennis in high school, and I was pretty decent. I won some trophies and stuff, but I wasn't the best. My friend Tim was the best. And the funny thing about Tim was, not only was he really good at playing tennis, so like I felt like I was learning just by watching him play, but he also had this temper that was so funny. He was playing, there's just like a championship match or something important. And in high school tennis, you have to say the score before you serve every point just to keep track of the score and everything. And Tim starts disagreeing about what the score of this game is. And he's like pointing out, like, no, you remember the first point was over here, and then you hit the line, all this stuff. And the guy on the other side of the court that he's playing is like, he's just not buying it. And he's saying, well, I think it was like this. And I remember Tim just kind of like stands there for like a couple of seconds. And then he's like, I can't believe you actually believe that, right? And like, don't you feel like sometimes that happens to you? Like, don't you feel like some people say things that are just so off the wall you can't believe they actually believe that? Well, this guy says to me, starting a web design business in 2024 isn't worth it. And I'm thinking, I can't believe you actually believe it. And this is something that's kind of changed in me over the last maybe 5 or 10 years. I used to just think that there's people out there that are crazy, like their brains just run a totally different operating system from mine, and we're never going to see things the same. But, you know, I don't think that that's really the case. I mean, I guess some people are actually crazy, but I would say like 99% of the time, our brains are running the same logical, reason-based operating system, but we're just feeding it different sets of data. And so I'm coming in with a different conclusion than the other person is coming to because we're looking at different sets of data, not because we're using different reasoning capabilities or something like that. So anyway, so I say, okay, well, tell me a little bit about why you feel like starting a web design business today is a bad idea. And, you bring me up to speed on what's going on. And so he starts telling me about all this stuff. And I'm taking notes. So I even wrote them down. And he says, well, there's too much competition in this space. And you have to be this charismatic sales guy and just make like 200 cold calls every day and be prepared for 199 people to just say no. And I've tried LinkedIn and Facebook and Google, and like nothing's working for me. And he even had this client that made like some rich client, like making like $40 million a year or something like that. And he's like, even those guys were nickel and diming me every step of the way over this 10-page little website I'm trying to build for him. And everybody's wasting my time. Like I'm getting on the phone with people, doing these discovery calls. And then I go back and I spend hours on a proposal and I send the quote over and then they ghost me. It's like, it's just a complete waste of time in every way. It's web design is dead. And so I'm thinking, okay, I see what's going on here. Because when he says web design is dead, what I'm thinking is, what do you mean? Like nobody needs leads online anymore? Because I'm thinking web design is marketing, right? Like I'm thinking of what is the outcome of the work that we do for our clients. And it's, we bring in traffic, we pull leads from the traffic, and we nurture the leads into clients, and people make money, and more people are discovering businesses online today than ever before. It's like you think people are leaving the internet or something, it's going away. It's like, obviously that's not the case. So from my set of data, I'm thinking web design is marketing, clients need leads. There's more clients that need more leads now than ever before. Web design is thriving. But he's not seeing it that way because he's got this whole list of complaints and problems, and he's burning himself out and wasting his time, and it's just not working for him. He's not making any money at it. It's all falling apart. And I tell you what I think the difference is. It's not that web design is dead or that people don't need leads online. It's that the web design business model has changed. It'd be like if I came to you as a musician and I said, hey, you know what? I think music is dead. And you're like, well, why do you say that? And I was like, well, I used to, people would buy my CDs. I had all kinds of music going on out there and everybody seemed to love it. And, as the years have gone by, people aren't just buying the CDs anymore. And then you're thinking, that's crazy. It's like, obviously that music isn't dead. We think people are just going to go to weddings silently and just work out silently now. It's like no need for music anymore. It's like, obviously it's people want the music. It's not that they don't want to buy the music. It's that they don't want to buy CDs anymore. And so I need to shift my music business from CDs into like streaming platforms or something like that. And that's the deal with this web design situation. It's not that they don't need the web design and the online marketing and the lead generation and all that stuff. The part of web design that has changed is the web design business model. It no longer is very effective to walk up to someone and say, hey, you need a website? Because then they're going to say, hey, you know what? Not only do I not want to spend money on a website, I think maybe I'm going to quit spending money on the website I already have. Like, thank you for reminding me to cancel my hosting or something like that. I'm just going to use the Facebook page or whatever. And when somebody says that to me, I like to hear that because it means there's such a huge opportunity. If someone thinks that their website is nothing more than a Facebook page that can just replace it because the audience is on Facebook or something like that, I'm like, well, have you ever thought about running ads? Like Google ads or something like that? Do you care about showing up on Google at all for anything? You're going to run Google ads to your Facebook page? I don't even know if you can do that. But even if you did do that, you'd probably pretty quickly stop because you're going to go broke. That's not going to convert. You can't set up a dedicated landing page for a specific offer on your Facebook page. And what about like building an email list? It's like, you can't really do that very effectively on a Facebook page. It's like, why would you do that? Now, I'm not saying not to use Facebook, but man, the biggest problem with Facebook is it can just turn you off. I would say, especially now that I've been like in the web design business, kind of coaching business thing for the last 7 years or whatever, I'll probably talk to somebody at least once a week, if not more often than that. They're like, hey, Lee, Facebook just turned off our client's website, or they're in Facebook jail for the next 6 weeks, or something bad happened and their entire Facebook audience is gone and they can't run ads and they can't post their stuff and whatever. And for seemingly no fault of their own, Facebook is so fragile with that sort of a thing. So not only is it a risk to just have all of your traffic coming through a platform that you don't own, but there's also a massive amount of opportunity for things that the client's probably not even thinking about. And that's where the new business model comes in. The old business model is what I would refer to as a solution last model, where the first thing that you do is you somehow get a lead from somewhere, then you talk to the lead to figure out what they want, and then you start implementing their vision and kind of going back and forth in this design process until they like it and you're happy with the solution. And then you launch it and get paid. And the solution is last. So the last thing that you have is the functioning solution. Where today, the most effective approach is a solution first model, where you figure out what can I do to help somebody. And I'm going to figure that out first. Before I try to get leads or do anything else, I'm going to try to figure out how I can help. Not what services can I do. And this is the hard part. This is the thing that's so tricky behind all of this. It's not, can I build a website? Or can I put an email opt-in form on a website? Or could I potentially run ads? Or could I manage a Google profile? It's not about how to do any of those individual services, because yes, if you don't know how to manage a Google business profile, I can show you how to do that in one afternoon. Join me in my mentoring program and I'll show you how to manage a Google profile in 2 hours. And you'll be able to, and then you can charge a monthly rate for that, a couple $100 a month just for that. But it's the services are not the point. The point is, what is the overall package and how does it help? In fact, I put together a workshop. If you go to LeadBlw/workshop, there's a whole video called Modern Client Acquisition that's, it's like a $12,000 package and all the services and how we get leads for it and everything. So if you want to see a big example, check that out. But the point that I'm trying to make right now is it's not about the services. It's about how does it fit together. A lot of my clients are in health and wellness and functional medicine and that kind of space. And that was the first step that I had to take in order to figure out how to help them. I had to figure out, who am I helping? If I invited you to a Christmas party, I said, hey, bring a gift. We're going to have a Christmas party. Your first question would probably be, who's the gift for? Is it a gift for a little girl, a little boy, an adult person? Who's it for? So I know how to get the right gift. How do I get something that people want? Well, you have to know who it's for first, right? Same thing here. So when you're putting together your offer, your solution, the first thing you have to figure out is, who am I building it for? So you can know what they want. Because if you were going to build something for an e-commerce business, you'd be talking about cart recoveries or trying to recover cart abandonments, or should I do free shipping versus flat rate shipping versus real-time shipping rates, or how do I get product reviews, which is different from a Google business profile review. So there's a different set of needs in e-commerce than there would be for local businesses. And even within the genre of local businesses, you have some businesses that are doing estimates. Some businesses want you to walk into the business on foot. My clients wanted calls. They wanted consultation calls. You would call somebody up, talk about your health for a little bit, and then they'd try to point you in the right direction. They'd try to say, well, here's what we can do to help you. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, that means a couple things. First, it means they need to look really professional. It's health, it's wellness, it's important for my life, so it's got to look professional. And then on top of that, there's going to need to be some kind of a lead capture component to my offer. Because if you're going to do something with your health, you kind of want to learn a little bit about what you're getting into before you sign up. Very few people, even if it's something that's really common, like a chiropractor, it's most people don't just hire you the first time they land on your website. They want to learn a little bit about what you're doing, and is it the right fit? Do my symptoms match up with what I think you can help me with? And what am I getting myself into? Is it going to hurt? There's some education that goes into it. And so I need to have an email opt-in, a PDF download or a webinar or a little quiz to take or something where I can put in some information, you tell me some results, and I give you my email address for that. And then once I have the email address, why don't we nurture those leads a little bit and say, hey, here's what it's like to come here. Here's what our storefront looks like so you can find us. And here's different symptoms you might be having that we can help you with. And, click here and schedule a time to talk to us. Schedule your consultation call. And so you click that link and you go to a landing page about that specific symptom. And then you get on the calendar, and that way you could be in the middle of the night. Maybe one of my clients helps people with insomnia. And so like it's the middle of the night, you can't sleep, and you're like, man, I wonder what to do. You come across Dr. Grace's website, you're like, this sounds perfect. And now you can get on her calendar, even though it's like 3 a.m, right? Because it's online. So I'm putting together all this stuff that helps generate leads, nurture leads, qualify the leads. Another big thing for my audience was a lot of these doctors do sort of non-standard things that aren't covered by insurance. And so lead quality, like qualifying these leads so that if they were thinking they were going to use their insurance for it, and then it gets to the point where you're onboarding them, like, hey, well, here's my insurance card. Like, yeah, we don't take insurance. When then the deal is off because they can't afford it or whatever. Well, that's really frustrating for the patient because like, I was just about to get the help I need and now I can't afford it. And it's also really frustrating for the doctor because she's like, I could have helped you, but now I can't. Now I feel sad. And plus we spent all this time together. So quality of leads, like qualifying the leads before they come in is a big part, which you can do through the email opt-ins and stuff. So when you put together a big offer like that, you've really got something. And so, again, check out the workshop. It's lead.blw/workshop. And you can see all of the different services we put together, but it's not just the services. They're put in order for actually pulling in traffic, getting leads from the traffic, nurturing the leads into clients. And we can even talk a little bit about customer loyalty and client retention. Like that whole customer journey is what we're really looking at so that you can get to the point where you're not just saying, hey, do you want a better website? And you can say, well, would you like more leads, right? Like, would you like results? Would you like an outcome? And so the 3 big steps are you pick the audience, you put the solution together, you then design what you would be building, and now you've got the solution first, right? And so if you feel like you're reaching out to people and you're just not catching anything, like you feel like you're fishing, but you're just not catching any fish, maybe the hook is bare. Have you thought about that? Like the old school web design approach is basically like, it's almost not like even fishing because you don't even know what pond to drop your line in. It's like, what kind of clients are we looking at? But even if you said, hey, I think I want to work with local businesses, if there's nothing on the hook, if it's just a bare hook, why would anybody bite that? Like, why wouldn't you put a nice juicy result on the hook so you can kind of bring some people into your business through that? And that's the whole idea about a solution first agency. And then if you take a look at that workshop, I'll show you how we get leads for these things too. It's called small favor marketing because by the time we get to step 3 where we actually have the solution designed, then you pull out one small part of it and say, hey, I can give you this little piece for free. The first step is free. This little thing that I can do. It could be something like local businesses need more reviews. I've got this Google review app I can give to you so you can like click a button and Zoom. You kind of send somebody a link to leave you a Google review. Would you like that? I'll just give it to you for free. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. So, well, hop on a Zoom call with me. I'll show you how to get it on your phone and how to use it and everything. And now you're getting people calling you. And then when you're on that call, you can say, hey, I'm looking at your Google profile. I noticed you haven't posted any updates, or that the phone number on your profile is different from your website, or that you're not even linking to a website. You can take it to the next step because you already know the solution, right? So just take a look at what they currently have and then do a diff. Like look at what they currently have, look at what you know they should have based on step 3 where you already designed the solution, and say, hey, given the difference between what you currently have and what you should have, here's the next step. Here's what I would do if I was in your situation. Just like if you were talking to your mom or your dad or something like that, like just an honest, like, here's what I would, you don't have to even do it now. I'm just telling you what I would do if I were you. What do you think? Is now a good time? Is it too soon to start working on some of this? And a lot of people are going to think that sounds awesome. Let's go ahead and do it. And now you've got a lead, you got a client actually. And then even if they say no, even if they say, yeah, I like what you're telling me, but I just don't have the budget to do that right now. Well, now they've got your small favor. And so like, say you give them the Google review app. Well, a month from now, look and see if they have more Google reviews, right? And then if they do, then say, hey, it looks like that app's working for you. Is now a good time to work on this other stuff? And now look at the chances of that. So now they've got more clients, more reviews are coming in. They know you now, and you're building out this authority network of people that are using your stuff and they're liking you and it's proving to work out, which builds even more trust for you. And here's another thing that's about this Google review is, by the way, the Google review app is something that we work on together in that in my mentoring programs. You want to check that out. But as people are using the Google review app, a lot of other business owners will say, hey, where did you get that from? Oh yeah, Lee built it for me. Who is Lee? So you got to meet Lee. He's the greatest guy in the world. He gave me this free app, right? Wouldn't it be great if people were talking to you about that? That'd be awesome. And so now the small favor itself is sort of kind of going locally viral. amongst other people that also want it. And so it's bringing in more leads from that. It's just the best. It's one of those things where it's like, how could you not do it this way? Like once you see it, you can't unsee it because you don't really have that uncomfortable cold call sales thing anymore. You're just giving to people. You're helping people out. You've designed something that actually gives people a result that they want. It's awesome. But then the question is, well, what do you charge? Like if you're going to put something like that together, how do you charge for it? And should you put those types of prices on your website? It's going to be a lot more, right? It's not just a website. It's now like traffic, leads, and clients. And the website's just kind of the hub of all of that stuff. So what does that cost? Well, check out this next video over here and we'll talk about the impact of putting prices on your website. Or check this thing out here. That's the workshop, that little red square up there. You can click that. It's the Modern Client Attraction Workshop. And either way, I'll see you in just a minute.